Welcome to Well Rounded Momma's YouTube channel. Today our topic is, why would you choose a home birth over a birth center birth?
Dun, dun, dun.
We thought we would start by defining what the two different types of facilities are. You have a freestanding birth center and you have a birth center that is attached to the hospital. Tori, could you tell me what qualifies a freestanding birth center?
A freestanding birth center is a birth center facility that is designed to take care of moms during their prenatal, labor and delivery, and postpartum. They may or may not be accredited. They usually have birthing suites. You have to still go to them. It's not like where you stay home. You still, once you're in labor and you're in active labor, you travel to the birth center facility and you are set up in a birthing suite to deliver your baby.
And who does deliveries at freestanding birth centers?
So midwives do. It does depend on the state that you live in. Currently in our state, they're working on some things to make it so that CNM, certified nurse midwives, can deliver in a freestanding birth center. However, there are some states where CPMs can deliver in a birth center as well.
As well as physicians.
And physicians, of course.
Ariel, can you tell us what a hospital-attached birth center would look like?
A hospital-affiliated birth center typically is in a building that is located directly attached to or near a hospital, and it is overseen by physicians, and you still travel there the same way you would with the hospital, but it is close by, and both midwives and physicians can deliver there.
And what is the benefit of having a birth center that is attached to the hospital?
Well, the biggest benefit would be if suddenly your birth were to become high risk, complications were to arise, you are very close to a hospital in the case you were to need cesarean or intervention had to be.
And so that's really what the big differences are, is one is a freestanding, one is attached to the hospital, or you have the option of a home birth. And so there are these three different options. Here in the state of Nevada, we do not have any hospital attached birth centers. Your only options are a labor and delivery unit, which I noticed that a lot of the verbiage that a lot of their websites use is they refer to their labor and delivery units as birth suites, birthplace, but they're all labor and delivery units. There's no distinction or separation between those two units.
It is a labor and delivery floor within the hospital.
Correct. Whereas we do have our very first freestanding birth center that is on board, I guess, to open hopefully in 2020. And so we are looking forward to that being able to be an option. So here in Nevada, we are very limited on women's choices. However, hopefully we are expanding upon that. And in the state you may live in, you might have more options than we do. From this point forward, we are going to refer to birth center as one thing, regardless of whether we're referring to a freestanding birth center or a hospital attached. We're just going to compare now a birth center with a home birth. We thought we would talk a little bit about the pros and cons. Ariel, maybe you could start off by sharing with us what some of the biggest benefits are of choosing a home birth over a birth center birth.
For me, the biggest thing is definitely not having to leave your home. Not worrying about timing it right when arriving. Your midwives come to you. You don't have to worry about getting childcare or having to have your house a certain way or making sure that you left the right things with the kids. It's very family friendly. You don't have to go anywhere. You can birth in your own bed, your shower. It's all about making you comfortable, and this is you having your baby. We're not concerned about you accommodating us in any way.
A drawback about having a home birth is many times home births are not covered by insurance companies. And so a lot of individuals might choose a birth center so that it is covered by your insurance. Now, it would have to specifically be an accredited birth center is what our understanding is once you receive an accreditation, most insurance companies will cover that facility fee and potentially even that provider fee. So we see that as probably the number one reason why an individual would not choose a home birth, was so that more of their insurance could be covered.
Yeah.
Tori, would you mind sharing with us why you might choose a birth center birth over a home birth?
So I have had some moms who have come to my care and from other states, and they had birth center deliveries, and then because we don't have that option currently, chose to have a home birth. And some of them were saying that they really liked the fact that they could step away from their home and that their children, if need be, and kind of go into this more secluded, kind of away from their home. So that might be a benefit to some people and it might not be to others. I have had clients again that say insurance played a role. I've had a few clients who said that they liked that they did have access to like nitrous oxide and sometimes like IV pain medication. I know I do have one friend in a different state who delivered in a birth center, and she did have access to an epidural because it was overseen by physicians. So depending on state regulations and things like that, those can be some of those benefits. Here in Nevada, we don't have our birth center yet, so it's kind of a waiting and seeing on what they're going to be able to offer at this point. But those are some of the things that I've heard from clients that have had both.
And it's hard. I think it's difficult to state what the pros and the cons are, honestly, as we go through, because sometimes something that would be a pro to one person would be a con to another person. And so it's why I think that options play such an important role for a location of birth, is so that individuals could have as many different choices as possible. Because like Tori said, for one woman, maybe she wants to get away from her children at home, that she can go do something hard without worrying about them. Whereas maybe another birthing individual really wants their children involved. I think it's really important to kind of see what the differences are between the two institutions. And in our state, particularly home birth, because we are considered illegal here, we have almost no restrictions on what we can and can't do. Whereas some states you would go to, you would find restrictions on how long somebody would carry, or gestational diabetes protocols, or whatever. Whereas at a birth center, every single step of the time, they are going to be more regulated by the state than a home birth, because it is a facility, it is an institution, and there are going to be times where they have to abide by stricter protocols and guidelines than a home birth midwife. Not always, but certainly that is something that you'll see.
In a home birth setting, it's up to each midwife how they practice. Here at Well Rounded Momma, we have quite a few practice policies and guidelines. We follow those to make sure our moms and babies are safe, and so some of that might be the same if we do see licensure, because we're practicing in that regard already.
And so those are some of the questions to ask yourself, whether you're considering a home birth or a freestanding birth center birth, or a hospital birth center birth. Overall, what's most important is that you choose a place where you feel safe, supported, and that someone is listening to your options and including you in your decision making. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the bell, like, subscribe. We hope to see you next week.
Becca, I needed to work harder on the set here, girl.